Okay guys, in this video I am going to be walking you guys how to create a title block. For this, we're going to go ahead and click right here on New, and then we're going to click on Standard IDW because we are going to be making a drawing file. Now when you open up your Standard IDW, the default size is a D size sheet. How big is that? Well, if you don't know your different sheet sizes, it would be a little bit difficult to know. So if you go right here to the browser bar and right click on sheet 1, you'll see that this dialog or this menu comes up and we can click on edit sheet. The dialog box right here says that a D size sheet is 22 inches by 34. Well, that is a lot bigger than what we have the capability of printing on most printers. So we're going to change it to an A size sheet. An A-size sheet is 8.5 by 11, which is a standard piece of paper from normal printers. So we're going to go ahead and select that. Now what you notice here is that the title block is very large compared to the paper. It takes up over half the printing or half the paper size. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click on ANSI large and delete it. Now we have a clean sheet. But we want to create a brand new title block. So how do we do that? Over here in the browser bar, we're going to click on the plus sign next to drawing resources. We're then going to click on the plus sign next to title blocks, and we can see that we have two options here. ANSI large, which is something that the title block that we had right now, and ANSI A, which is a smaller version of the one we had earlier. But we want to make something new. So go ahead and click on title blocks, right click on title blocks, and we're going to define new title block. Now nothing happens to our screen, but if you look up at the ribbon, our ribbon has changed. Our title block is going to be rectangular, so we're going to click on the rectangle. And we're just going to create a random rectangle. We're then going to dimension it and give it a dimension of 4 inches wide by 1 inch tall. Once you have that, we're going to divide this rectangle into 4 equal smaller rectangles. So I'm just going to draw a line directly across from midpoint to midpoint and draw a line directly down from midpoint to midpoint. Once you have that, go ahead and hit the escape button, and we have 4 evenly or equally sized rectangles. Now we're going to add some text. So go right here up on the ribbon and click on text. I'm going to click and drag a rectangular text box to fit in my first rectangle. This is where we will be putting our name, but we're going to put drawn by, and we want to make sure that everything is in capital letters, drawn by with a semicolon, and then put our name. And I'm putting my first initial and my last name. We want this to be, we're going to highlight everything, and we want it to be center justified and middle justified. And we want this, where it says drawn by, to be bold, underlined, and a little bit smaller than our other text. That way it looks something like this. Once you have that, go ahead and click OK, and it puts it in. All right. So I'm going to right click and say OK. And instead of retyping everything, we're just going to copy this. So we're going to right click on it, go to copy, click over here, right click, paste. And then we can drag it over where we want it to be. We're going to repeat this process 4 times. You can use Control V, and that will put everything in the right location once you drag everything where it needs to go. Okay, so now you have 4 boxes with text. Now we need to change what each box says. So this, our second box, we're going to change this drawn by, we're going to change it to date. Okay, and I'm going to delete my name too. There it is, standard eye properties. I apologize. And we're going to go to the third pull down menu and we are going to find creation date. When you find creation date, go ahead and click right here where it says add parameter, and that will change what we see here, and we'll say okay, and we leave it like that. The next thing that we're going to change is this right here, and we're going to be calling this drawing name, and make sure it's all in capital letters, drawing name, and this we're just going to leave blank and say okay. Oops, I don't want it to be like that. I want it to have, like, I'm just going to put a space, enter. There we go. I want it to be like this so that way I still have space underneath to add something later. Okay. Then this last box is going to be our scale. So we're going to change this drawn by, we're going to change it to scale. And this, we're going to change this to sheet properties and initial view scale and hit add parameters and say okay. And there we go. So all of this is what we need in our title block. Once you have this put in, go ahead and click on Finish Sketch, and we're going to call this L, or put your first initial and the first 3 letters of your last name, TB. All right. So when you click Save, nothing happens. What you have to do next is double click on the title block that you just made, and it automatically inserts it. Now, as we start to add information to this drawing, all of this right here will change. The only thing that you will need to add on your own is the drawing name. So to do that, all you'll have to do is put in a text box right there, and you can just type in whatever you want. And this will be a reminder to you that you will need to eventually change this. Okay? So once you have this, go ahead and click on the Save button. And this is going to, and you're going to save it into your Inventor folder, and it's going to be your first name or your first initial and the first 3 letters of your last name, title block. And okay, and there we go. Go ahead and click Save, and that is what we want there. The other thing that we need to do before you change anything else is we want to save this as a template. So we're going to go right here to the File pull down menu, hover down to Save As, hover over to Save Copy as Template, and we're just going to say have the same name that we used right now to save it into our original Inventor file. And we're going to change this or go ahead and save it here. So that way, when we go to the Home button or the home screen and we go to New, right here is our title block. If you guys have any questions, please let me know, and I will see you in the next video.